But Objective-C, like we just mentioned, is most often referred to in the Apple context,
Yes.
although from a technical standpoint, it's not an exclusive Apple language.
Right. It's not that the next company and Steve Jobs developed Objective-C. They really developed the next framework that made Objective-C in a way that kind of put it on the main stage.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
So Objective-C is around. It's a language. It's out there. Other people use it. They just adopted it and built a framework on it.
Now, just a word of warning, and Brian and I have, through our, trials,
Adventures.
going through adventures, learning the Objective-C language, we learned a few things. One, there's a ton of great references available. Even developer.apple.com has some fantastic documentation.
Yeah. But although it's good documentation, it just it shoves you in the deep end. The getting started things are too simple, and they're too geared towards, you want to make a button? Here's the 2 steps to make a button. See how easy it is? It's like their documentation is like a series of marketing commercials to convince you that Objective-C and their implementation of it is easy.
Right.
Without really explaining to you in a clear way. I mean, it goes from see how easy it is? Then you're like, oh, how does that functionally work? And then they're into craziness. Really quick,
Or they throw down that little ninja dust thing.
Yeah, and
when
then disappear.
they're gone.
You're like, whoa, I'm back at the homepage for developer.apple.com. How'd that work?
But see, that's not the approach that WiBit.net's going to take.
Right, and that's why we're going through this.
Yes. So, now that we've kind of praised and kind of said Apple sucks at the same time,
Yeah, kind of.
let's keep an eye out for these Apple blanks.
Right. Exactly.
I can't imagine a circumstance, Brian, where you would not want to program an
This
Objective-C.
is something that you'll hear. You'll be reading the documentation, and you'll get frustrated.
The indoctrination.
Yeah, and you'll get frustrated and be like, how do I just... And you'll go to a forum. Inevitably, you'll go to a forum. And what you'll find is that a lot of people in the Apple developer community aren't really that friendly.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they're kind of shitty.
They're kind of assholes.
Yeah. And so one of the things that you might find when you go to a forum and you're like, hey, how do I instantiate an NS number object if I something? And the response that sometimes you'll get is,
I can't imagine a circumstance where you would do this.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Another answer is, why would you do that?
Right.
Or you should never do it.
Well, that's not the way you should do it.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of different ways to do a lot of different things.
Yes.
And we want you to be able to just, play jazz with it. We want you to, break it open and say, hey, these are parts of the framework that I like, and here's parts that I don't. So, it. I don't care if it's depreciated. I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
Do your thing, So the documentation is good, but the reason we're going through this is because we want to be able to kind of go through and say, okay, what the hell is this? What is the language and what isn't the language?
Yep.
How does this compile? How does it function? What are these?
Right.
What the hell is this colon parameter bullshit thing going on?
How do I use it best?
For?
How do I use it best for my purposes?
Exactly.
So now let's start talking about these Apple bleeps.
Right.
And why do they exist, Brian? Maybe you could help me understand these Apple people.
Right. One of the things that kept us away from getting into this language were these Apple and it's not the Apple company's fault that they exist.
Well, they do market to these folks. I mean, come on. They go to the Apple store.
Yeah. Like the PC Mac things, and they're like, hey, we're cool kids.
Go to the Apple store and talk and see who they hire.
Yeah,
that's who they market to.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. They all drink too much Starbucks.
Yeah, and there's a chemical that Apple creates. It's called the eye gas, and they spray it into the steamer colonics that you get at Starbucks.
There you go.
They put the eye gas in them, and they blow them up their ass and
they lure you in there to drink that coffee that's poisoned with Apple propaganda because they give you free Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi
and their free Wi-Fi only works on Mac devices.
And you'll also be able to see these folks because as they're sitting there at Starbucks doing whatever they're doing, usually it's nothing, they will sit towards the entrance with the logo on the back of their machine pointing towards the door. So as you walk in, you can see it.
And generally speaking, they're a little pissy. And they're pissy because they just maxed out the daddy's credit card.
And they're grounded for the next
week
or so.